Everybody, this is Hector Ryan with the Faith and Fandom podcast. Just coming to talk to you a little bit while I got some time on my hands. It's Friday, January 11th. Looking pretty excited to some stuff coming out in the near future. I'm actually about to go pick up the new Super Mario Brothers game for the Switch, which, in its all honesty, is a revamp of the Wii U edition. But like most of the world, I didn't get a Wii U, and my kids are always down for a side-scrolling game, so I'm looking forward to that. But just hitting up with you, let you know where we're at, what we've been doing. Hope you had good holidays and Christmases and New Year's and all of those things. Currently, we are in the writing stages of getting everything ready for book 6. Vincent, who is my con sidekick slash darker brother from another mother, is adjusting to fatherhood. They had a baby girl named Nova, and that's been a pretty cool experience for them, and getting to watch, even in small portions, Vincent be a father has been pretty fun. But we're working towards book 6. We're planning out our con schedule for 2018. Got an email the other day, just from someone cool, just talking to us about, in general, excellence in our writing and editing and everything else, and shared it with the whole team, which the whole team for Faith and Fandom really just consists currently of myself, Vincent, who does the art, and Timmy Martins, who does the editing. And just kind of sent that out to each other and kind of challenged us all to make sure we step up our game. So Timmy, my editor, who is, I can say this, he's equally as busy as I am. He's a full-time missionary, young guy that also runs a photo company and a bunch of other things. We actually had a sit-down lunch where we planned out how this is going to go so that we can actually make sure that book 6 is the most efficient, well written and edited version of Faith and Fandom to date. So that's exciting. So we are working towards that. We want to make that better. This Saturday, tomorrow, I'll be at Greensboro Comic-Con doing the Nerd Slam competition with my friend LJ, Carlos, and Kayla, Monica as well. And it's a panel competition where people argue over how much trivia they have and knowledge of their fandoms. I always do that. And then at the end of the day, I'm going to be doing a fanboy face-off panel that I'll host, and do our debate panel with that. So I'm pretty excited just about that. We're also planning out our con schedule for the year. Kind of got a look of some of the places we're going and some of the things we're doing for 2019, and we're going to be on the road. We're going to be out there pretty much, and trying to get to as many shows as we can. Currently don't have anything in February, although I might look into Captain's Comics, if big show at the end of February, if it's not already booked up. But I'm also on the wait list for South Carolina Comic-Con. I haven't done that show before, and it would be fun to do. But we will be at Oak City in March. We'll be at SwanCon in Sumterville, South Carolina, March 23rd. Wilmington Geek Expo on April 20th. Concord MiniCon on May 4th. I don't know if I'll have a booth yet, but I'll be there. That's also Free Comic Book Day. I'll be at Heroes Con in June. Raleigh SuperCon in July. Bookham NC in September. Fayetteville Comic Con in October. And Empire Comic Con in Savannah, Georgia in October. There are a lot of shows that aren't even planned yet, so we're still working on that, trying to get into that. But just wanted to kind of give you an update for those of you who listen to this, those of you who read our books, those of you who care, and just put out. So thank you for being here and listening and knowing what's going on. I currently wrote a chapter on Into the Spider-Verse, and I'm thinking I'm going to load that soon. So that'll be fun. The next thing I'm working on is a chapter on Red Dead Redemption, which is already laid out. We have a bunch of chapters that we're planning. And a lot of times people will hit me up and say, do a chapter on this, do a chapter on that. Realistically, the only way that works for me is that I write about the stuff that I actually see. And it's really hard for me just to I don't want to ever shoehorn something in there. So if I don't see it, I'm not going to write about it. But the things that I actually see. So I've got planning on Red Dead, Doctor Who, the episode where they have their fake substitutes, the show Titans, Haunting of Hill House, Batman White Knight, Scott Pilgrim, Greatest Showman, Judas, My Hero Academia, Red Hood, some stuff, and some Batman 53. So I've got a pretty solid lineup. Timmy, our editor, is also going to write a chapter on God of War, and we'll just see how this book is shaping up. I'm pretty excited about it. It will not be a rush to get out by May. Normally, I do a May show like XCon or Tidewater and try my best to have it out for that show. But I don't have a big May show planned yet. And I'm actually just want to take my time and not really rush this. It needs to be out by then anyway, but I don't want to rush it too much. And that's kind of been the goal. I want to really kind of refocus where my life is in a lot of areas. 2018 was just so hard with a lot of things, emotionally, spiritually, physically. There's just a lot between floods and drama, and just honestly, I let a lot of negativity and stuff get me down and weigh my heart down in ways that it didn't really need to. And in some ways, towards the end of the year, I was really just losing focus on my personal relationship with God. And so I really want to step that up. I really want to be strong in what I'm doing with that. I want to get more creative with our podcasts. I want to make sure we're doing more. Our meme game is still strong. I still love the memes. Still love what we're doing with memes. And but I want to keep making Faith and Fandom better and making it as strong as possible. There's some big games about to drop in the next week or two. Mario is coming out today, but I know not many people are even remotely excited about that. But Resident Evil 2, the remake, the high-def remake, looks amazing. And that was my favorite game back in the day of my favorite video game, Resident Evil 2, Mr. X, the bald tyrant. And they're literally scared the poop out of me when I was a teenager, and I'm super looking forward to it. Oh, that was a loud noise. I think I just broke my ukulele. If you're with me, pretty sure that's what it was, and I'm super sad about it. But the Tyrant from Resident Evil 2 was one of my favorite things, and I'm looking forward to playing that. I'm also planning to delve into the Kingdom Hearts world. Never played Kingdom Hearts before, and I know there's a lot to catch up on. I don't care. I'm not going to play the old games or do that. I'm just going to read a Wikipedia and move on with my life. So that's one thing. Young Justice is back. Young Justice is back for their third season. Outsiders, I've watched the first 3 episodes, and the next 3 episodes have come out, and I look forward to really getting to invest in that and see where this is going. Young Justice and Titans have proved to be worthwhile for DC Universe existing. I'm still going to want them to step their game up a little bit more. But they're dropping 3 episodes a week for Young Justice, so that's an hour and a half. So that's even more than we got with Titans each week. So that's pretty dope. And there are 26 episodes, so it's going to go by pretty quick, but still, I'm still pretty excited about it. So yeah, that's all. Outside of nerdy things, I'm reading I'm reading Letters to the Church by Francis Chan, and also reading Alex Cross Target. I've been reading Alex Cross novels for for 20 years. Yeah, I've been reading Alex Cross novels for 20 years. James Patterson's books, and they're they're not magnificent or anything, and they pretty much churn out the same kind of detective story every time. But I've always been a fan of those. I really enjoy them, and I'm really grateful for that. I'm at the stage in my life now where, just thought I'd share with you that I have officially started to drop off Loot Crate. I've had Loot Crate DX, the big Loot Crate, since they first launched it, and I'm officially done. The constant shipping delays and just some of that stuff has really worn me down to not caring anymore. And I would cancel my regular Loot Crate now, but I already paid through September, so I'm going to enjoy it through September. But yeah, I'm done. I need to declutter. If you've seen any of my Facebook or anything, my action figure shelf is bananas. There's just a lot on it, and I can't put more up there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and start to purge a little bit from my life of that stuff. Like I said, I want 2019 to kind of be a year of refocus for me. Our church does this thing at the beginning of the year each year where we do 21 days of prayer and fasting, and my church makes jokes, especially in my pastoral team, that fasting Hector is the best Hector. That I say the wisest things, and I have the most creative ideas. So anytime I say something smart amongst my other pastor team, they say, "Oh, you fasting?" But it really does help get my head clear, which is probably why I'm talking about refocusing. Give me a couple weeks when I'm back to drinking sodas and eating Sweet 16 donuts, and I'll probably not care anymore. But no, I really do want to kind of get things refocused and get things back together. Domino this week of Marvel Comics. By the way, Domino is my favorite Marvel book of 2018. Just got done recording a podcast with Love Thy Nerd about our 2018 best of the year. So you'll hear more about that. Domino's just been my favorite Marvel book. But there's this line in this past issue of Domino where she calls out to God when she's about to do something that could take her life. And she says, "I don't talk to him that often, God, or whatever. I just want there to be someone out there that's bigger than Galactus, bigger than the Beyonder for moments like this one." And, it's that status of there are no atheists and foxholes. We want to believe in God when we need him the most. And I think that's great. And there was also a really great quote in Man Without Fear #2, which is the new Daredevil book, where I'll not tell you who's talking because it's a spoiler, where it says, "I'd tell him that fear is a liar. Fear is a cheat. Fear is a thief. Fear steals joy and love and courage. Fear rigs the game, makes you think that you're better off not trying. Fear tells us it can keep us safe, and we believe it because we desperately want to." And I just love that. Daredevil's doing a really cool thing, right now, that being a book that's about a man without fear, dealing with his fear. And that's been really great. But I really enjoyed Domino. And they've been doing some really cool stuff with Nightwing as far as forming a Nightwing squad. And it's been really good. I don't know if I'm going to keep reading that. But also, Batman 62 is another great Batman book by Tom King. It's a great standalone issue. If you don't read comics and you just want to read something, it's a Batman waking up being tortured by Professor Pig, and he's dealing with his own mental issues. And they go pretty spiritual with it as well. Batman says, reassess, evaluate. I'm lost. Oh dear God, I'm on my knees and I'm lost. And he goes on to say, you went to your knees, you prayed. For the second time in your life, you prayed. And which is, if you've read Tom King's books back in like issue 15 or so, in the I Am Suicide arc, it talks about the first time Batman actually prayed to God and he didn't get the answer that he was wanting. And so based on this, these are the only two times that Batman has prayed in this capacity. So it was neat to see. Those are some really good books reading right now. Honestly, I'm a fanboy for Tom King and what he has done. Someone in the Dragon's Lair comic book group, which is my local comic book shop, made the statement that Tom King is overrated. And yeah, I'm gonna have to go to the doctor for my eye roll on that one because I'm still wounded. But that's been good. Heroes in Crisis, the most recent one, had some good points. It feels like that book is finally moving forward. But also Immortal Hulk number 11, I think, whatever the most recent Immortal Hulk is, has a really great thing on God. Because this run of Immortal Hulk is actually dealing with Hulk being in hell, which is a fun thing. But it goes on to read this. Hell is the absence of God, not atheism. A thing cannot be absent if it was never there. To be truly absent, God must have once been present. God must have a face to turn away from it, to turn away from you. What is the anger of God? We are told it's in the flood or the storm. Insurance men say those things are God's acts, against which we are unprotected. But that is a rational side speaking. The rational side, science, says it was our doing after all. We poisoned the air, we boiled the sea, we filled it up with plastic. We decided hating each other was more vital than saving each other. We were given a miracle world and we broke it. Perhaps we thought God would give us another. It won't work that way. What is God's anger? God's face turning away. I mean, that's pretty flippin' profound for Immortal Hulk, Incredible Hulk book. And so I really enjoyed that. It's been some good reading lately of comic books and things in general. And I'm grateful for some of the good writing that has taken place in books lately. So always feel free to hit me up with what you're reading and tell me what you like. And if you've got recommendations of things we should check out. I've really enjoyed getting feedback from y'all on the podcast and things like that. A cool project, and I'll keep this as DL as you can on a public podcast because I don't know, how many people listen to this thing. Currently on a side project, writing a comic book for a friend. This is going to be my first comic book project, and it's not really like I didn't wake up and like I really want to write a comic book, but sort of writing a comic book. I've got to still make Faith and Fandom a priority on the writing scale of things, but I'm really looking forward to making this project actually happen. So a comic book is potentially underway. I don't think I've talked to y'all since I've watched Aquaman. I enjoyed Aquaman. It didn't change my life. It was super pretty. And congratulations on the fact that it's quickly becoming DC's highest, the DCEU's highest grossing movie. It is the DCEU's highest grossing movie, and it's just a few dollars away from $1 billion. So go you, Jason Momoa, and everybody that was involved in that. So yeah, high five, high splashy five. Went and saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse for the second time. Loved it just as much. Thought it was great. Really enjoyed. Man, I enjoyed so much about that. The soundtrack has probably been one of my favorite things. My kids walk around singing a Post Malone song, and cool, whatever. We're down with that. But it's been pretty crazy just watching how that's happened, and not that it's faith and fandom, but just want to share with you. This is one insight that I've really gotten from doing some prayer and fasting with my church and everything is it's so easy. This is a note I took when I was reading the other day. It's so easy to fulfill our surface level longings like food and boredom and ignore the deep longings of our soul. And I think that's something that as a kid, I was always the hyper kid. Like, they wouldn't let me have sugar and daycare kid. I always had to be doing something. I always had to be fidgeting. And always had to, smartphones have made it a lot easier to look calm because you're doing a lot of things in a small motion. But the thing that has just really been hitting me is that so much of the things we do to mask or cover or ignore the things that are deeper to us. The games we play, the conversations we have, the pictures we take, the things we read, the things we post, can easily just become distractions from what's going on inside of our hearts, inside of our lives. And faith and fandom for me has always been about finding where God is in the stuff that we're doing and helping bring God to the surface in my fandoms and in the things that we're going through. And in the same token, though, I think that there's a balance, because it can be so easy to use these things to distract us from what's really going on. There's this line in a 21 Pilots song that says, "Please don't be afraid of what your soul is really thinking." And I think that's something we actually have to deal with, is that we do so many things that we do to ignore what's really going on in our lives and in our hearts. So I would just encourage you, I would challenge you, I would exhort you, rebuke you, pick a word. I would just challenge you and encourage you that if you're doing so many other things that you're not actually paying on to what's going on with who you are as a person, your integrity, your character, your heart, your life, if you're doing so many things that you aren't paying attention to who and what you really are, you need to stop and breathe. You need to stop and really assess yourself. You really need to stop and evaluate who you are and what you're becoming, because if you spend your life distracting yourself and hiding from your reality, you're just going to end up winning nothing but the goal of distracting yourself. You really need to actually be real with who you are and where you're going and what you're doing. So don't distract yourself. Let your fandoms entertain you. Let your fandoms encourage you. Let your fandoms be a release. But just don't make them a distraction to the point that you're not actually living out who you are and what you're called to be. That's just been a big deal for me to really come to grips with. That is that I need to be real with where I am, what I'm doing, and in the moment. And I was reading this verse in Daniel. It says, "How can I, your servant, talk with you, my Lord? My strength is gone, and I can hardly breathe." Or Daniel was just telling God, I've got nothing left. I can't talk with you. I've I'm so worn out. I'm so exhausted. I'm so tired. I'm so scared. I'm so afraid. Whatever your descriptive term is, that you're so this that you can't talk with God, that your strength is gone. You can hardly breathe. I want to encourage you that find rest in God rather than distraction anywhere else. If I just leave you with anything, find rest in God rather than distraction somewhere else. And you'll see a change in your life. Wasn't going to make this a crazy long one. Don't have a lot. Just wanted to put something out there in the airwaves and hopefully encourage you. And thanks for listening. And I look forward to seeing you at a Comic-Con soon. Feel free to inbox me on the Faith and Fandom page on Facebook, or hit me up at faithandfandom@gmail.com. And look forward to, in a few months, seeing book 6 come out and talking with you. Bye.